Alright, Knut, here is your critique of the Morten Hake Summit page. And just so you know, I got some notes here in my hand, but a lot of this is also just going to be kind of off the cuff. I'm going to go through my notes, but generally whenever I start digging into one of these, more thoughts come up and better ways of explaining it also occur. And you'll also notice that I'll frequently pause and then kind of come back. And that's one, just to keep the video condensed, and it also helps me gather my thoughts and just keep the whole thing on track. So if it seems a little jumpy or whatnot, that's why. Another thing is I am going to be showing you a different event page that is done differently, and that was written by Brian McLeod, who was one of the writers at the Action Seminar. And it was for one of the Warrior events, and they use a similar format. In some ways I think yours is a little bit better, but in some ways I think theirs is a little bit better. So I am going to be kind of flipping through the two of them to show you when I have suggestions, to show you kind of an example of how I think it was done right, and then how you guys can implement that same structure to what you guys are doing. The first thing I want to mention is the sort of the color scheme you guys have chosen to use. You're using reverse type, which is a black background, white text. And you asked me about, copywriting materials, and I was actually talking to Lawton Childs the other day about this, about some of the more old school books that all the copywriters have read, but not necessarily just the marketers, who will pick up a course or two. And there's some stuff you'll learn in some of those old school, books that I kind of want to bring up, which is this color scheme. And generally speaking, using reverse type like this hurts conversions. If it's in a newspaper or a flyer, anything, a website, anything really, typically it leads to worse response. Not all the time. A lot of time it depends on the offer, the market. Different markets respond to different things. But I would say by default, you guys should always do nothing fancy with your color scheme. White or an off-white background, which can be like a gray or a parchment, which is a sort of a soft yellow, which I'll show you an example of later. That type of background with, black text, red text, maybe some blue text, just typically, just been kind of proven in any type of ad medium for the past 100 or so years, just typically works. And so I would say, as a starting point, you guys can test the white on black if you want, but as a starting point, I would never start with reverse type unless you guys have a lot of data that shows that you should anyways, shows that you should. Also, this black background, white text leads to you making other color choices that are just kind of questionable. Like this weird red, it's sort of like this reddish pinkish thing. It's like if you were to take mayo and ketchup and mix it up, this is what it looks like. Again, it's like this is not a color I would ever really suggest using typically for anything. Normally I want a bolder red, but you can't really pull off a bolder red with this type of black text, because otherwise it's just, it really hurts the eyes. And so it's sort of, I just feel like you guys aren't really doing any favors for yourself by having a black background and white text. And there's really no reason to. There's nothing wrong with having a white background or maybe even an off-white background and just black text, red text. It works fine, no reason to change it. The only reason I can think of is to go with this color scheme you have is because of this logo thing here and this whole, I guess, I want to say almost the way you guys have branded it, this logo. Well, first of all, you guys can still have a black banner up here. It's fine. You can have a black, header with white text, so you guys can still use this. That's no big deal. But it doesn't mean it needs, the rest of your page needs to be that same scheme, and I really wouldn't recommend it. Also, you have this 4th edition. This is just, the designer in me. Honestly, if I were you guys, I would just put a big white bolded Roman numeral 4 right here, and I'm going to draw it real quick just to show you what it looks like. I went and found, rather than drawing it, I went and found the Wikipedia. So these Roman numerals, honestly, I would just take 4, which is this one here, which is the I and the V, and I would put that right here. I think it would look cooler, and it would basically let you get out of this weird red color that you've chosen. Now, another thing is, I don't think you are really doing yourself any favors by having Morten right here, this big, and also this image, the resolution is a little unclear, a little fuzzy, so like if you're going to use an image, it should be really, really crisp and clean. It should be really good. But honestly, I don't think you need it here, and I think you can use this space better. And one of the ways I think you can use it better is by copying what the Warrior event's done. They have a little flip slideshow, because by using this picture, it kind of pigeonholes you guys, because it's like, what gets the top? Like, do you want this, or do you want this headline, or do you want, this subhead? What goes where? And it's really hard to, one, just because of the nature of the event, it's sort of what you guys are giving them is a little bit more vague. Not, it's hard to, I guess, bring up really concrete, specific headlines and benefits. Like, if you guys were doing a, just get laid type of seminar, which I know you guys aren't, and I know that's not what you guys are about, you could put that in the headline and be super easy from a copywriting perspective, like, this seminar will get you laid, period. And that would be a pretty obvious, clear headline. But you guys can't do that, because that's not, because the nature of what you guys do is a little bit more vague and a little bit harder to crystallize, but you do have a few points that you keep on hitting, which is, building core confidence, being authentically attractive, using your own personality, like this whole core confidence, core like authentic charisma that stems out from your own personality, not using gimmicks, just having, it's really just like having really, really super deep inner game, I think would be the pickup lingo for that. And that's sort of what you guys are about, which I think, is totally awesome. But it makes it a little bit hard to go, well, what gets the headline space? And so I think there's sort of a clever solution, which the Warrior event uses, because both events, yours and the Warrior meetup, people are going to be going there for a variety of different issues. Like, some people are going to want very specific, like, tools and tactics that they go to learn so they can get over whatever obstacles they have. Some people just know that you guys are awesome and know that you're going to provide a lot of value, and they just know what you're about, and they know they're really on board with this whole, like, authentic attraction, core confidence thing, and so they want to go and learn about that, and they know it's going to be great. Other people, and honestly, like, for example, if I were to go, I'd be like, well, I just know that if I go to Norway, because going to Norway and hanging out with all these guys and partying just sounds like it really kicks ass. And I know I'm not the only one who thinks or feels that way, and that's why I would order. And you're gonna, you have multiple categories like this. Some people just want to know, they go, okay, I think I've got some of the pickup stuff down, but I've always felt deep down that there's more to it, and that there should be more of, like, an authentic, like, I want to know how to have really good authentic relationships with women all the time by default. And then if I find someone who I want to have a long-term relationship with, like, how does all, like, I think having this authentic core would basically blend into that and lead to a strong relationship. So I want more, like, relationship stuff. Other people are going to want some more of the sexual mastery. People are going to come here for different reasons. And so I want to show you what the Warrior event does, and also how they use their pictures, because you guys kind of have pictures all about, and we'll get into more detail about those in a bit. But so I'm just going to jump over to the Warrior event page, and I'm going to refresh. Now what they do is they have this little slideshow thing at the top, and they have pictures, and then they have all the different benefits that you can really hit for people coming to this event. Like, for example, for this Warrior event, people are going to go because they want to make connections and, profitable JVs. People are going to go there because they want to learn specific stuff, and they need to, I'm going to go back to that other one. Like, they may, go, I need to know more about traffic generation, or I need to know more about, copywriting, or I just need to get in a room with a bunch of people and start, making networking and just meeting people and making things happen. And, basically they kind of hit every reason that people are going to go with this slideshow. So they even have, like, not only are you going to learn all the stuff, you're just going to have a freaking blast. And they show people doing that, and then they hit on all the points of basically why people are going to want to go. And I think you guys are kind of in the same boat, and I think you guys can just basically steal this solution. and have the same slideshow idea, and then for each slide have a picture. You'll basically have a headline for one of the big benefits of why people are going to go and what they're going to get out of it, and then you could have an accommodating picture. Like for the set, you could have a slide on sexual mastery, then have this picture of the girl taking this top off, being totally naked right there in the thing. You could have something like that, and it'd be a real clean way to just have kind of get everything you need to say, all the benefits, and really fit them in that space. And then you could even use this picture of Morten in one of the slides. Like for example, their first one is, join us. You could have the picture of Morten, and then maybe also, one of these pictures. I wouldn't use this one, but maybe a picture of everyone on stage, or just, have a picture of I guess the whole gang or the conference, maybe something like this. Or maybe just use Morten's picture. Either way, like I don't think, it's not a huge deal which one you use, but I'm just saying you can use this picture effectively, and you could even, you could use it in that slideshow format, which I would definitely recommend. One thing that I think you guys do that they don't, which I think the way you guys do it is a lot better, is I think this is really good, really clean, how you have everything on one page, and if they want to find the, if they want to basically jump to whatever it is they feel like they need, they can just click it and it'll slide them down the page. I think that's a very clean way to do that, and so kudos to you guys for doing it that way. So now I'm just like, and we're just going to move down this page from the top to the bottom, and I'm going to try and break down each segment and each video that you guys have. And there will be some jumping around, and some of it will be just tuning up and cleaning up what you guys have already written, and then there will also be some overall, I guess, theory about copy and advertising, and just like structuring the page and structuring your offer, and just how to make this more of a grease slide. So there will be kind of a combination of just tuning up what you guys have written, and then also I've written some stuff that you guys can use, and then I've also written some stuff that's halfway done that will get you guys going in the right direction. But there will also be a lot more of breaking down sort of the big picture stuff and explaining what's going on in the reader's mind, how you should reorganize, or just, like, I guess, re-strategize the way you guys are presenting your copy. So there'll be a little bit of both, and also all the stuff, like, I'm going to say stuff that I think you should write, and you should be taking notes anyways, but I do have my notes that has all the stuff that, where I basically say, here's something I've written that you can use. I do have that in a file, and I'm going to send that with you along with the video and the critique. And so we're just going to start right here, right at the top, which is essentially one thing that I want to put. One thing I really want to narrow down on is, like, one, I think that this is one of those, this headline as a headline is all right, but not great. If you guys were destined, like really, I guess, sold on keeping it this way, when you take this line, you can be proud of. Like, this seems like version 1 of a headline where it's maybe the right direction, but the real headline you want to use is maybe 4 or 5 layers of drafts, like, down the line. Because when you take this line, you can be proud of, I would expand on that, like, basically really drill into that line. Like, what is it? What are the specific components that are going to happen that is going to make them more proud of their life than they are now? You kind of hit on this throughout the page, and I can understand why you wrote it this way, because the things that they're going to learn and that they're going to implement that's going to give them a life that they can be proud of, it's a really kind of all over the board, from sexual mastery, relationship mastery, or deep inner confidence, or just like understanding charisma and how you can be charismatic by just through your own personality. It's kind of hard to narrow, like, here are the specific reasons why you're going to be more proud of your life, because even if you did put it all on a page, it wouldn't really apply to everyone, and it's just a really difficult headline to construct. Which is why I think you should use that slideshow format of the Warrior event. That way, you could essentially go through and come up with headlines for deep inner game. You could basically take all the 5 keys which is, the flirting charisma, the sexual mastery, the relationship mastery, and then the lifestyle design. And then you could basically create a headline for each one of those individually, and then put it into its own slide with its own photo. I think that's really going to be I think that is the big solution to your guys' headline problem, and just the solution to the top of your page in general. Something I did write, however, when I was looking at this headline. Now, it's funny because I know you guys are changing and tweaking this all the time, because I started taking notes like when you first asked me, but I had to stop because I had to focus. Alright, this is just a test to make sure things are going alright. I literally had Camtasia stop recording because my hard drive is so full that I had to delete things in order to have enough room just for this video. So I went, deleted a bunch of stuff, and now we're back. So just give me a moment to get my bearings here. So I just watched through the video again, and I didn't realize that you had a hyperlink in there that brings them to the page. However, it only brings them to this little window, which is, not the best. If you could have it open up a new page for them rather than just this tiny window, that would be phenomenal. So oh, I just remembered where I was before the video shut down, which is I wrote down sort of a headline that I suggest, like, sort of combines this message with this message, which is, world's most powerful personal growth experts transform you into a man who attracts and keeps gorgeous women, builds a core confidence, become the best lover she's ever had, and create an amazing life you're proud of. The same issue with that last line, but, I obviously would need to have a product or something before I could actually expand on it, the way you guys can sitting on the material. One thing I want to mention before we dive into the copy here and actually get into the rest of the copy is captions and pictures. Pictures are good, captions makes them even better. So what a lot of people don't realize is, the things people are going to read on your page, pretty much no matter what, is the headline, because it's typically smack right up at the top, bolded, and it's, the headline's designed to grab attention, to earn attention, and to urge them to read on. The second thing people read is the very bottom, which is, this is why there are those PSs on all those sales letters. The PS is actually completely reiterate the entire sales argument. It gives them the gist of what the letter was about. It usually has the most powerful benefits inside, inside the product, inside the letter. It also hits them with the money-back guarantee, also in the PS, just to reassure them and remind them. And it gives them scarcity. And then some people will hide like a little tidbit in the PS that says something along the lines of, remember earlier in this letter when I showed you blah, 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 which is some benefit-driven thing that encourages the person to go back into the letter and try and find it. You guys, looks like the bottom of your page isn't really built with this in mind. And, I would definitely at the bottom of the page have some sort of, subhead where you basically hit them with the bullets again, hit them with the benefits of why they should come again. But the next thing people read the most are captions underneath pictures. So if you've got a picture or a video or anything like this, you always want to put, well, not always, but usually you want to put a caption underneath the image. So, again, I think this is something that has changed recently, like a recent tweak that you've done. But I think this is supposed to be relationships, ready to take your relationships to a completely new level of excitement, etc., etc., etc. I would change this. And if you're going to have ready to take your relationships to a completely new level of excitement, I would want to put something in here about generating a large amount of authentic attraction. Just because you don't want, I feel like you don't want to get too far away from the dating or romantic or like pickup component of this page. Even though I know how what you guys do is separate from that, just because I've seen what you guys have done, and I've met you guys personally, but I feel like you don't wanna move too far away from that. So I would definitely have something in here that is definitely attached to just the idea of pickup, or the idea of becoming an attractive man, an authentic attractive man, and having fantastic relationships with women. And I know you don't want to isolate women, and that they'll get just tons of value out of this seminar too. And I remember you had actually brought that up earlier over Facebook, and there's definitely I guess an easy quick fix to that issue without having to derail like the whole copy or a lot of the page by trying to write for two genders. I think you can actually just write for men, and then have in the frequently asked questions like, but what if I'm a girl, or what if I'm a woman? Then you could go into, well, actually, women get tons of value out of this event too. We've had several women, tons of women show up, and they've all loved it. And then you could even show the picture of all the girls sitting together, and you could talk about why they had such a fun time. This is the picture I'm talking about right here. Now, here's one thing that I gotta get to the right part of the page right here. Okay, so when you do bullets or anything like this, you've made a very critical error in the way you write these bullets, and actually a lot of, I guess this opening you have the similar error, which is the fact that all these are written, or they're all centered around you. All of these, this entire part, it's all about you. And you know that you always want what you write to be about your prospect. You always want the reader to be able to inject themselves into whatever it is you're writing. Now, it's actually pretty easy to do this. You could actually just change, like right here, for example, you have how to naturally start conversations, get dates, and eventually finding my ideal girlfriend. Hint, has nothing to do with what I say. You can actually change this and just change my to your and I to you. And you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to do this flip of where at first you're talking about me, but then, like, as you start it, you're talking about you and your own experiences, me. But then by the time you've ended it, you want to have switched modes, switched gears, and it should be all about them. And you're allowed to do that. It's totally okay. You can have, these are the men who taught me everything I know about, and then you can go how to naturally start conversations, get dates, and eventually finding your ideal girlfriend. You're not breaking any cosmic rules by doing that. It's okay to start on you, but always end with them. Always make that switch and make it about them, so they can inject themselves into the bullets. And you can do, you want to do this on every account, like how to make you, sexually desired and unlock the keys to sexual mastery. Secret of lifestyle, how to create, this is fine. This is, but you want to make sure it's all about them. And if you look at this opening paragraph, it is all about you. Or, it's all centered on you and not your prospect. And there's also a different approach to this opening that I want to talk to you about. And this is, I'm going to, the way I'm going to explain it to you, I am just straight up stealing, I think, from some old, I think it was a Kevin Rogers and John Carlton podcast or interview, but it was a long time ago, where basically you see all the time, especially in the internet marketing market, and also the dating pickup market, which is this whole angle of, I used to be just like you, and I had totally shitty results, and everything sucked. But then I blah, 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 and now everything rules. Here's what I, encountered. Here's what I discovered. Here's what I found. Like, if you look at David D'Angelo or Evan Pagan's the opening video on his website, Double Your Dating, that's the exact, that's exactly what he does. And this, you see this everywhere, especially in internet marketing. And So John Carlton and Kevin Rogers, they were talking, and basically the problem was this: what if that's not my story? What if I at no point in my life could really relate with my prospect, that I was never in their shoes? Because I feel like that's sort of the go-to thing that everyone tries to do in their copy nowadays, is that same angle of, I used to be like you, and things sucked, but here's what I found, here are the big discoveries that got me over the obstacles, and now here's how everything rules. Everyone tries to do that, and you really don't have to. The example John Carlton gave to Kevin Rogers is this. Imagine you got your hand chopped off. Your hand was gone. I mean, this is like you are... So it did that thing again where it made me go stop the video and then delete stuff on my computer to make room for the video. So where we were when we basically left off, although I honestly don't know how it works with the video, if it's just like, if it comes back immediately and it's right on point, or if there's some sort of delay, I have no idea. But what I was just talking about was this idea that everyone tries to emulate I was where you were, or where you are, and then I made some discovery, now this is where I am now, and I'll share this discovery with you for a price. And John Carlton and Kevin Rogers, in some interview, I think it was them a long time ago, the issue that they were dealing with was, well, what if that's not true? Like, what if that's not your story? What should you do? Like, what? And John Carlton made an excellent point, and he was like, well, imagine this. Pretend you got your hand chopped off. You know, terrible accident. Your hand is in a bag of ice, and you are in an emergency, like an ambulance, an emergency vehicle going back, and you see all the flesh on your wrist and the bone and all the meat, and you're bleeding, gushing blood, and the pain is excruciating. And they finally wheel you into the hospital, and you see the surgeon who's going to put your hand back on. And you don't really want him to say, oh man, I know exactly how you feel. Like 5 years ago, the same thing happened to my hand. My hand got chopped off. I know that pain here. You know, you don't, like, when you're you don't care about that. You just want to know that he's going to get your hand back on. Like, you would much rather hear him say, hey Knut, you terrible accident, your hand's chopped off. I just want to let you know that you're going to be fine. We have the finest team of medical professionals here. You're the 10th guy with his hand that got chopped off to come here today. All their hands are on fine. We've done this plenty of times. You're going to be okay. And a lot of people don't realize that they can just arbitrarily take that approach when they have positioned themselves as an expert, or if they're even perceived as an expert. You don't have to say, I was where you were, etc., etc. You can just say, look, man, you know, like we've helped people out like you before, and it's gonna be fine. You know, I'm an expert. You're okay. You know, you're under my care. It's gonna be fine. And so you don't actually have to go with this. You know, the past few years, I made it my mission to seek out these people and unlock the secrets of, and this, you know, they brought me through all this. Like, you don't really have to do that. And I would consider that actually you just, rather than say the past 5 years you've made it your mission to seek out all these experts, etc., etc., you just said, hey, I'm, you know, Morten, and for the past 5 years, like, focus on what you guys have taught, and focus on the value you've given, and focus on the main benefits people get from your stuff. You know, your guys' mission, which is, you know, basically teaching men how to, I guess, tap into or build this core confidence, you know, display this really authentic attractiveness by just sort of, you know, and essentially from what I've gathered, just by developing really, really, really deep inner game, and then having a lot of core confidence, and then just like being congruent from that. And you want to focus on those main benefits, and you can just say something like, my name's Morten, and for the past 5 years, I've been teaching men how to benefit. You know, you can do that. It's fine. You know, and then you can basically say, and I've partnered up with some of the best speakers in the world who I only know, who I've met along my journey, and these are the men and women who've taught me everything I know about. And then you could go back to making sure these bullets are framed and pointed at the reader. And again, I would have captions for these, like, you know, you could have like the amazing speaking, you know, the amazing speakers of, you know, Morten, you know, edition 3. You know, I don't know if you'd want this photo involved or not, but if so, you want a caption to basically lay out what exactly is going on here and why the reader, like basically why the reader should care. Also, I'm gonna like to really kind of hit in on this Angira Foundation and this, you know, basically the fact that all the surplus, and I don't exactly know what you mean by surplus. If you mean all the profits, like basically everything after you've covered the costs, all the profits are going to go to you know, this foundation. That's fantastic, and I think that you should give, rather than just have like the whole spiel on the order page, like way down here. I think that the fact that all the proceeds are going to charity deserves its own spotlight and its own section in the copy. And I think you can give it, you know, basically, you know, just make it. And I'll show you where to put it and exactly how to fit that in. And then we'll go on how I think maybe you should use this space a little bit better. I'm going to scroll down here and then... Now I'd like to jump to the next part of the copy, which is basically the part where you actually talk officially about the summit for the first time. And some copy that I've just jotted down going through it was basically, you can say the Morten Hake, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, I'm sorry. The Morten Hake Summit is a 2-day conference packed with amazing men, women, and some of the most powerful speakers in the world, where you become empowered to unleash your most authentic and powerful self and freely express your unique personality in an attractive, confident, and congruent way without fear or hesitation. So it's essentially taking this part right here, which is just, you know, good copy, and then right here, before you actually get in, like before you know, start telling them prepare to take massive action, you actually just tell them what the conference is, which is 2 days conference, packed, you know, awesome people, men and women, and then very amazing speakers. And then right here, you can change the bullet and then take this part right here, the where you tell them to take massive action. You can actually use that to lead into the bullets. So you can say something like, expect to take massive action and tackle the most important areas in your life with the help of some of the most respected leaders in personal growth by your side. We're going to focus on the 5 keys, you know, to becoming an authentic, confident, and attractive man. And you could change that to person if you know, don't want to neglect the female readers. Now, and you can actually rattle off the 5 keys right there. You know, you could just say, you know, the 5 keys and then just list them. You know, deep inner game, flirting and charisma, sexual mastery, relationship mastery, and then lifestyle design. You can just rattle them off kind of in a quick list right there, and then you can go into more bullets here. And these, I think devastating is spelt wrong, and also you have an F here. But overall, these bullets are pretty decent. And you know, most of the time when people do bullets, I've got a lot of gripes with how they do them. But it looks like, just from the amount, I don't know how much copywriting you've studied, but it seems like just by consuming a lot of marketing information, if you're in the internet marketing space, you consume a lot of, you know, you'll see a lot of bullets. And so if you consume enough of it and have basically decide to start paying attention, you'll sort of develop a feel for what a good bullet is. And I can tell that you've done that, because normally when I look at bullets, it's a total train wreck. Now, I want to break into speakers, and I think you are making a huge mistake with how you've presented the speakers here. First of all, speakers are very much, I mean, the speakers are a huge part of why people should go. If, you know, for example, let's say you had, let's say all these speakers were people who had absolutely nothing to do with relationships or, you know, pickup or, you know, personal growth or anything like that. Let's say you had 10 plumbers, okay? You had 10 plumbers and they're going to come here and talk. Well, no one would care. In fact, people would specifically not go to the conference because they go, why am I going to go to this? If I care about personal growth, why would I go to a conference that has a bunch of plumbers speaking? And now, the whole reason I bring that up is these aren't plumbers. These are people who have a lot of, credentials. They have very valuable expertise. And you need to present that. You need to basically, you need to give that the copy attention it deserves. Like if someone's thinking about attending, they deserve to know what Hans Koman has to say and why I should care. And what am I going to learn from Hans Koman that's going to motivate me to spend, over $200 on a ticket. Same thing goes with every single one of these speakers. Now, this is something that I think the Warrior event does pretty well. Let's see if I can find it. See right here, they've got basically a quick little bio, and you can see how they have this 2x4 layout. And that's fine. I have actually, and they have basically, you notice, credentials, website, quick bio. Name, credentials. Like, what am I going to learn from this person? Like, if I listen to this person, I'm going to learn about, marketing systems. If I, listen to this person, I'm going to learn about Facebook marketing. If I, I'm going to learn about product from this guy, product development. From this lady, I'm going to learn about outsourcing. From this guy, I'm going to learn about copywriting. And this person, I'm going to learn about, buying ad space. This stuff, you want to basically do the same thing. And you can copy this, but I've drawn a little picture right here, just to give you a different format and something that may, I guess, flow with your page a little bit better. So here is Mr. We'll say this is you. Actually, you're this guy because he's handsome and winking. But this is one of your speakers. You can have speaker's name and then title, maybe their website, and you can even go, what are they going to specifically be talking about? Is this one guy going to be talking about the sex stuff while someone else talks about inner game or limiting beliefs? Is someone else going to talk about charisma? You can take the 5 keys that you've said you're going to walk them through and then just list, speaking on sexual, and some people may speak on more than one. That's fine. You can just list them all out. What of the 5 keys are they going to be speaking on? And then you want to give a very quick bio of like who they are, what they're about, and then you want to also put some benefits in that of why what's in it for me when I listen to them. Like, what am I going to learn? What do I care about? What does the prospect care about by listening to this person? And then you could go on and you could do the same thing. Now, I've drawn right here, I've done some coloring. You could either do something like a dotted line and then the next person, or you could actually just have a very faint, different colored off-white in the background. And I said earlier that I was going to point out some stuff about color that you can use. So I'm actually going to pause the video and then just, rather than do it here in Paint, I'm just going to Google image some of the different colors that you can take a look at, and then I'll send you the link. And that way, if it doesn't show perfectly on my video, you can just Google it yourself, or I'll send you the links along with the video. So I found here on papersandpaints.com a couple different samples of off-whites. Now the ones that have been shown to work pretty well, just like through history, whether it's print, like whether it's a newspaper ad or a magazine ad or a postcard or a letter or a website, are if you can see, they're sort of, they're just slightly off-white. They're close to white, but not bright white. And the ones that typically work pretty well are the ones that are sort of grayish, or the ones that are parchment, which is kind of like a really soft yellow, like this, and also the Gary Halbert and letters are written on a pretty strong parchment color. And so I'll just go there right now to show you what I mean. I see how that's just kind of this parchment yellow. That stuff has just been shown to work, and so you could actually take that knowledge and then apply it to listing out the speakers. By applying a different type, you could go white, off-white, white, off-white as you lift through the speakers to sort of differentiate them. And then we have, so that's, you basically, I mean, the speakers are such a huge core component about what they get, and here you've just like listed their names, and I want to say that's not good enough, but I don't want to necessarily focus on the fact that it's not good enough, but rather you have so much potential here. You're sitting on sales dynamite, and you're just not using it. You can basically edge in so much value here, so much like copywriting gold in all these bios and these descriptions, and by putting benefits in those bios, like it's so much. I mean, this is a copywriter's dream right here, is to basically know that you can sneak that much copy into the bios and have that much credibility and have that much perceived value, and you just don't do any of it. Oh, got some new updates to ignore. And also, now we go down here into some, I guess these are different calls to actions, but I do like this party at night thing, because it indicates, because I mean, one of the reasons, and you don't really touch on this very often, you don't really talk about, not only are you going to learn a bunch, but we're actually just going to have a shitload of fun afterwards. I mean, fuck, man, that's why I would go. It's just because I knew it would be like, I am interested in what I'd learn on stage, and I knew I'd probably meet some really cool people, but I'd also go, I'm going to party it up in Norway with all these awesome people. Like, that is a huge draw for me. And it's going to be a huge draw for other people, and it's going to be, you have all these different things that are you're sort of selling in this seminar, and different people are going to put, I guess, attribute a different amount of weight on each one. And so you kind of want to give each one the, I guess, space on the page, so to speak, so that people who are really into that, whether it's the partying, or whether it's the sexual stuff, or whether it's the inner game stuff, you basically want to give it enough copy room, just like give it enough space on the page on the website, and have enough copy devoted to it, so that the people who are looking for that, they can just laser in on those things and go, okay, those are the things I'm looking for, and that's specifically why I really want to go. Okay? And now, the reason I don't like these call to actions specifically, is if I click get directions, one, I guess it's, I don't know if my computer, okay, I don't know if my computer's being slow. It looks like it is. Well, one, if I click on Google Calendar, it takes me off of the page to do this thing, and it's like, maybe you don't know if people use Google Calendar, you don't know if they have some different method, and also them marking their calendar, like them marking their calendar doesn't buy them a ticket. Me finding out the directions it's taking me away from the page without buying a ticket, and I don't think there's any reason to take that kind of risk. I don't really see any reason to do it. It seems like no real upside with the potential for a lot of downside, and so that I would honestly get rid of these, and I would replace basically in every call to action. I would replace this stuff. Anytime there's a get tickets now, I would put copy next to it. And I don't want to go exactly what type of call to action copy you should use specifically, because we'll get into that later, and I want to give you some links and some tools. So not only can you get my advice, but also I'll point you to some of the best places online where you can learn about that kind of thing. Ooh, actually, before I move on to the 5 areas of mastery, I want to talk a bit more about the speakers, and rather how you can use that to get even more value. I'm going to make an assumption here that all, or at least some, probably most, at least some, but also a pretty good chance that all of them have some sort of product they sell online that is related to what you guys do. These guys are all probably coaches, or they have some products or something, and I'm going to guess that the minimum price on any of their products is $97. Most of them fall between the couple, like probably around the $500 mark. Maybe some of them offer some sort of coaching that is in maybe bigger ticket. Now that's just an assumption, and I feel confident that at least some of that is accurate to a degree about these speakers. What you can do in your copy, and maybe you'll want some bulk copy right after you list through the speakers, and you may even want to, put like after their bio, they sell. Oh, that is not. That's. You might want to go put something like they. I don't know why this isn't showing up. Okay. So I'm going to type something over here that you may want to put in the bottom of their bio, which is, they sell, or maybe even coaching fees, or whatever it is. And you could basically say, like, put how much it costs for an hour of their time, or how much it costs for one of these guys to coach you, or how much does it cost to buy one of their products. And you can say, look, man, you don't have to buy any of that because you're going to be in the same room as these guys. One, like if you want to go out and buy all these guys' products and learn what they have to say and learn what they have to offer, it would cost thousands of dollars, maybe even tens of $1,000s. But if you just buy the ticket, you're going to learn like the best stuff that they have to contribute, and you can go up and talk to them and get one-on-one advice right there in the room. And it's like these guys will charge X amount of dollars an hour for coaching, and yet just by getting a ticket and being in the door, once you're in the same room, you just go up to them and talk to them, and they'll answer your questions and help you out with whatever obstacles you have. I mean, that's huge. That's absolutely huge, and you don't really talk about it at all. And I just think there's a lot of value in that idea of going, hey, these guys sell stuff that is more expensive than the ticket. By buying the ticket, you sort of get access to those products, which is, really expensive, and you can get all this value just by buying the ticket to get in the door. Like, there's a lot of potential there, and you sort of just, aren't using it. Now, again, you could even like by saying, like, hey, you'll be in the same room as them, and you can ask them questions. That's worth a lot of, it's worth so much. You can even sort of validate that by putting a caption here that says, whatever this guy's name is. I don't know his name, but you could say, this guy coaching so-and-so one-on-one during the break, or, maybe this is a boot camp that happens in the conference. I don't exactly know. But the point is, you got a picture of this guy giving this guy one-on-one help. And certainly there's a lot of monetary value in that. Like, had he not been at this conference, how much would he have to pay for that advice? Whatever, how much would he have had to pay for this conversation right here that he now gets just because he bought the ticket and is in the room? And you want to put a caption there. You also, I would say, you want to put a caption and then bullets within the caption about what he's talking about. And I wrote a little bit just sitting through it, which was, you could talk about how his personal blind spots put him in the friend zone over and over again. Then he discovered how childhood experiences and memories, get lodged in your brain, programming you to be ashamed and sabotage your efforts without you even realizing it. And you see what I've done here is that same technique that I mentioned earlier, where you can basically have it start, have the first part of the copy be talking about, me or someone, and then by the end of it, you're pointing it at the reader. This is done here where this copy starts with him talking about how his personal blind spots, blah, blah, blah. Then he discovered how childhood experiences and memories get lodged in your brain. You see that? How there's that switch of your brain programming you to be sabotaging your efforts without you even realizing it. There's a switch that happens there, and I would really encourage you to, basically incorporate that into all of your copywriting. Also, I guess I want to go into some of your bullets a bit. So this one right here, the break free from shyness and anxieties for social pressure and become an extrovert person who loves meeting new people. What you're saying here is not what you actually mean to say. Extroverted and introverted have people will associate introverted people are typically shy and not as social, whereas extroverted people typically are. And that's true for the most part, but what these terms actually mean is that an extroverted person is someone who gets energized by being around people, and someone who is introverted gets energized being alone, and there's sort of like this introverted people get energized by alone, and they need that alone time to recharge, and they feel like when they're basically in a social situation interacting with other people, they feel as if they're getting drained of, you know, I guess their energy reserves, so to speak. Whereas introverted people are extroverted people are the opposite, in the sense where they get, you know, charged by being around people, and then they, you know, if they're alone, that guess that reserve of being charged by all these people starts to go away when they're alone. It starts to drain away. And now everyone is to the extent both. But what you want to, I would say, switch this bullet with, instead of saying extroverted person who loves meeting new people, you could say something like, break free from shyness, you know, and anxieties from social pressure, and then just say, learn how to love meeting new people and how to be impressive in any social setting. So right there, you're taking the, you know, this idea that if they suffer from shyness and anxiety or social pressure, that you're basically going to show them how to break free from that, and then how to essentially kick ass in social settings. You can just say that better by being upfront about it, rather than doing this whole telling them they're going to become extroverted, because it's very hard to legitimately make someone who's introverted extroverted, and vice versa. You can take people, no matter whether extroverted or introverted, and just teach them how to be better at social settings, like teach them social skills, and this idea that basically social interaction and charisma is a skill that can be learned, and it can be learned whether you're introverted or extroverted. And so you basically, rather than just assume that by becoming extroverted they're going to get all these social skills, just tell them they're going to get the social skills. Basically what you're implying here is that they're going to get all these social skills by becoming extroverted, when really that's not true at all. You're just going to give them the tools and you're just going to show them how to be socially impressive. And so just tell them that. Now, this is also another thing that I had notes here that I jotted down the night before, and then I came back and it was changed. So I can tell you're doing a lot of tweaking. And again, the same thing where, as far as captions go, you want to put a caption here, and then maybe have a little bit of bullets in there and a summary of what he's talking about. And honestly, I don't think this picture should go here. And like I said earlier, you might want to put a frequently asked questions going, what if I'm a girl, and use this picture there. You may not even want a picture here, depending on how much copy goes underneath the video, because you don't want the copy here to clash with the copy here. Here's some copy I sort of jotted down just from listening to this video, which is, the one question that haunts men and robs them of their authentic power, and how to tap into your authentic self and unleash your authentic personality in an attractive way. Also, why you should stop chasing results, obsessing over phone numbers, or any other pickup game, and why doing so will attract a lot more women, earn the respect of men in a genuine, authentic way. There's tons of value in that copy that I just spieled, and it's all here in the video. And not only will that teaser copy basically get them into the video and watch it, it also will generate tons of trust and essentially validate what you say is true. Because if you basically give them information or a teaser bullet, but then prove it right there up front, if you do that a couple of times, well, then they'll know that you aren't lying to them, and you've already demonstrated results and value and expertise, so they don't have to take your word on all these bullets that they're just going to learn this stuff. Because if you put bullets underneath the video, and then when they watch the video, the bullets are essentially solved, and now they have those things to an extent, well, then they know that you guys are legit. They're going to trust everything else on the page. Once they know that the copy underneath the videos is true, all the other copy, they're going to assume that it's true, or at least be more inclined to believe that it's true. Now, this body copy right here is kind of a mess. One, when you say there's a secret language that all naturally attractive people speak that most people will never understand. This is a very difficult sentence because it implies a lot of things. Like, one, it implies that the person has to be naturally attractive. What exactly does that mean? What makes someone naturally attractive? Like, you could say this is something that people who are naturals at this kind of stuff. I think that's what you're trying to say, but this just people may interpret this as just being like naturally good looking, or someone who understands all this pickup stuff without having to learn it. Also, it assumes like, what if the person you're interacting with isn't attractive? Will everything you do in the flirting and charisma just like not be interpreted by them because they aren't attractive, thus they don't know the language? I think I know what you're trying to say, and the words you've selected don't say that. And I think I'm just going to give you the copy that I've written, and then you can decide whether or not that it's closer to what you're going for, and whether or not you want to use it. And essentially, this is what I wrote. What is it about incredibly charismatic people that causes them to instantly fall into a different category of attractiveness? At the Morten Hake Summit 4, we're going to pull back the curtain, revealing what extremely charismatic people do, and how you can do the same using your own unique personality. And after you've got this done, people will immediately begin to open up to you, both emotionally and sexually, letting you into a world only enjoyed by the super charismatic. I think that's what you're trying to say, is the fact that there's all these benefits that can be reaped by people who are just naturally very, very charismatic, and you can basically learn to tap into that stuff, and that's what you guys are going to break into. And I would say just say that up front. Man, this picture is awesome, by the way, and then the video, talk about hype. I just think it's awesome. Like, it just shows that this conference, this seminar really is different, and it's kind of wild and fun. Like, I don't know how many other, I know other pickup conferences or and even though I know you guys aren't, you guys have positioned yourselves as being, against the pickup artist gurus, and I understand where you're coming from, and I understand that you guys are all about, a much more authentic movement, which is why I think you guys are awesome, and more power to you. But the reason I keep on saying other pickup people is because that's essentially that's your competitors, and your prospects are essentially the same. And so I don't know if at those other pickup seminars if they have girls getting naked right there on stage, but it's pretty, it's cool, and it's exciting, and it makes me very curious and excited to show up, because I think this is a place where really cool things happen. Now, this is something that was changed a little bit ago, because you did have a spiel where you were you're in front of a girl and then you freeze up, blah blah blah, and I had noticed that you should just cut that out, and I'm glad that you did. And I think right here, this is good copy, but it's not. I think you should have more here, which is, and I wrote down you could have, the truth is most men and women don't have a clue about how to fully satisfy their partner in bed, which is why we're flying in some of the most knowledgeable lovers in the world, who will show you the secrets to becoming the best lover your partner has ever had, both by what you do in the bedroom and what you do out of it. You will learn everything you need to know, and then you can get into the bullets. Not only that, but I would hit every sort of sexual point, which is, you're going to reveal everything. You're going to reveal, squirting orgasms, we're going to show you how it works, how to do it. Full body orgasms, we're going to show you how it works, how to do it. Multiple orgasms, blah, 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 blah. Hit all those points. I guess all those hot button topics when it comes to this sexual mastery, and the thing guys are thinking about. How do I give her multiple orgasms? How do I give her full body orgasms? How do I give her squirting orgasms? How do I give her vaginal orgasms? How do I give her... And just, like, break down the different orgasms. And I don't know if there's more that guys care about. You'll be in a position to know more than me, because you're much more tuned into this market than I am. But you want to hit every one of those and talk about, you know, who... And also you can tie back into the speakers, like, which one of those speakers is the expert on these things? Like, who's going to be talking about this? And, you know, where is this knowledge going to be coming from? Like, what is it that they're going to learn specifically? And then which one of the speakers is going to give them that knowledge? Also, this bullet is unclear. Because it's something that can be interpreted differently whether the reader is a man or a woman. It is not, like, I think it assumes male, but, I think this bullet will mean something different to men and women, and I think you may be making a promise that changes by saying, like, once you know this, you can easily teach it to your partner too. Well, first of all, are you teaching, like, and maybe I'm wrong, like, because I know there's plenty of ways to skin a cat when it comes to multiple orgasms, like whether it's the multi-orgasmic man or, you know, other, you know, maybe tantra stuff or whatever it is, or if it's, you know, like David Shade type material. But I would just get specific here and maybe, you know, write something like how to become a multi-orgasmic man so you can last for hours, giving her as many orgasms as her mind and body can handle. Parentheses, she will be exhausted and absolutely satisfied. You can even put, you will both be exhausted and absolutely satisfied. That way you've essentially, whether the reader is a man or a woman, they will interpret this bullet the same way. Not only that, I think what I've written is just like more specific, more graphic, and more powerful. And so I would just steal it, and I'll be sending you these notes anyway, so you can just copy paste it if you like. Now, I want to point out basically what you've done with this first sentence. And different copywriters think differently about using questions to open up. And frankly, I'm with Harlan Kilson here, which is I typically don't like them to open up. Now, people who use questions often do it in a way just using a sales and psychological sales tactic, which is that if you can get someone to agree with you multiple times before you actually ask for the order, if you can get them to say yes before you say, hey, you want to buy, like they're more inclined to say yes the more times you've gotten them to say yes to other things. And there's actually a way to do that without opening up with questions that Frank Kern uses in a really brilliant way in a lot of his videos. If you I don't know if you follow Frank Kern or if you've bought any of his stuff or if you watch his videos, but a lot of times he'll say something like, he'll just say a statement that would be like, that's usually benefit driven, and then end it with, that would be pretty sweet, right? And basically, rather than open up with a question, because the thing is, when you open up with a question, unless they can, if their immediate answer that pops up in their head is different than what you want it to be, well then you haven't lost them, but you are sort of edging them off of the grease slide a little bit. For example, what if I haven't had a relationship turn sour, but I have had a person I really like lose interest in me? Well, then when I read this first line, it's going to be kind of a bump off the grease slide. Whereas this one, you know, it would be an encouragement on that grease slide. It would, you know, sort of keep me on track. Or what if, let's say I've had a relationship turn sour, but I've never had this? Well, then you're causing some, you know, I guess some dissonance here, where you really can just, you can write in a way, like usually when people write questions like this, it's because they don't really know how to write them otherwise, or even that they should. But there is basically, I'm looking at my notes here, which is the way I wrote it. Like, there's always a way to write it in a way that will include the reader if it applies to them, but won't bump them off if it doesn't. You know, and then you could basically take this, and rather than just having a question in the question, say something more along the lines of, say goodbye to relationships turning sour, partners losing interest, drama, jealousy, dangerous insecurity, poor communications, and everything else that shipwrecks thousands of relationships a year. Because after, experiencing Morten Hake Summit 4, these things will never happen to you again. Because you'll know exactly how to, boom, and then you go right into the bullets. And, this is, these, I don't want to go, these bullets are pretty good. It had periods, obviously. Also, this is something that I don't know if you know about, and it's just something you can do, but not in your current color scheme, which is to bold every other bullet. I wouldn't do it with, using reverse type, but I would suggest you get rid of reverse type and then consider bolding every alternate bullet. The gripe I have here, which is just the fact that you use attract basically twice in a row, which is effortlessly attract attractive people into your life. I would at least break that up and put attract amazing and attractive people into your life. It just makes the sentence read a little bit better because you have like attractive all over the place. And then amazing not only gives the sentence more value, more weight, but also makes it a little bit easier to digest and not as obnoxious to get through. Right here, I would actually switch two of these sentences. This, and in a way that drives them to want to meet you, should be switched without having to go out every night. So it should just basically read, attract available women on autopilot in a way that drives them to want to meet you, and then and without having to go out every night. It just, it's more of a grease slide. It just makes more sense, just as far as English is concerned. Okay, we're gonna move on to the details here. This is sort of like this. You got a major problem on your hands when it comes to the details of this thing, and it's similar to the same problem with the speakers. I'm trying to scroll up more. With the speakers, you just have like listed these names and these titles, and it's like you're really just assuming the person knows who who these people are and what they're about. And I don't know how renowned all these people are, but I do know that with any guru space, generally there will be a lot of broadcasters of information or leaders, and you will be surprised at how many people don't know who everyone is, and that they've sort of narrowed or honed in on just like a handful of them that they really like. And then there will also be like really brilliant information producers and leaders who are just completely not on the average person's radar. Like maybe someone will know who this guy is and this guy is, but have never heard of these two. And that's just the way it works. Now, again, you make a sort of a similar assumption about what the reader knows. Like, this is pretty straightforward. This is not like... Here's the thing. Here's the thing about everything you've listed. This, and this could, in theory, and maybe some of them even do, have their own sales pages floating out in the internet somewhere. Like, I don't know, like, me coming to this page, like, I have no idea what this gets me. What is an online strategy session? Is it a coaching call that's one-on-one? And then if it is, like, do I get an hour? Do I get to schedule it? How does it work? What is a personal strategy session with a certified summit coach? And also, give me the details, like, who are the coaches? Why should I be excited that they're going to coach me? Are they going to coach me at the summit? Do I have to track them down? Will there be a designated time for me to get that session? How long will it be? How many of them do I get? Just one? Is it an online thing? Do I just have email access to them? Like, what is it? Like, I have no idea just by reading this. This right here, like, I have no idea what this actually means or what I actually get. And obviously, like, your list is going to be more aware of these things than I am, but you're making a lot of really dangerous assumptions that they understand how valuable these things are, or even what these things are. And this is especially true if you're getting any JV traffic at all. It's possible that maybe your list is mostly savvy to these things, but if you're getting, one of your speakers to email for you, like say Jamie Smart is emailing for you, or Shogo Garcia is mailing for you, well, it's possible that their list doesn't know what all those things are. And so you wanna really dig into what these things are about and make bullets and really explain what this is as an offer individually. Each one of these things is its own offer in theory, and you need to break down what it is and what those are. Like, oops. Well, so you want to go either, if there's not sales pages for these things, think about what those sales pages would say, and then try and elevator pitch it, and then give the specific details on what each of them means. And I mean like specific and logistical details. And then you want to basically give these, every single thing that they get, more space and more, have copy to them and give them the amount of attention that they deserve. I honestly would include the address and the how to get there. One, it solves the question that the above button that you don't really need. But this question should get answered. Like, the person should know where exactly the thing's going to be before they order. But I don't agree with this button, so you want to take that information and I would just put it here. Make sure the specific address is here. I want to break into some of, I guess, some of the things you can more or less steal from these guys. The Warrior event, the sales page. You can't... So earlier we sort of mentioned how having this slideshow with the different headlines kind of hits all the different points on why someone would come. Because it's sort of there's a lot of different reasons. Like, people are going to be going for a lot of different reasons, and using this format kind of sort of lets you hit on all the different points. They also sort of do that again by this format, which is basically, is this for you? And then you can tell here they qualify the different people who could be reading this, which is like, here they go, if you're fed up with sitting on the sidelines, or if you're a total beginner and you haven't gotten anything going, well then, here's what you should do. You should come to the thing, and here's why. And then they go the next level. Maybe you're already doing great, but here's how you can do even better. And then they go, here's why. You can do the same thing with yours and go, are you a guy who just wants to spruce up his dating scene? Well, here's some copy on why you should come. Are you someone who wants to just have good relationships? Or, deep, authentic relationships with the women in your life? Well, here's why you're going to love it. Do you want to just get a long-term girlfriend, and you've noticed that all the other pickup stuff is very short-term, kind of gimmicky, and you're interested in something that can last? Well, we're going to address that, and here's why you should come. Are you someone who just, wants to live life to the fullest, or blah, 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 all these different reasons that people are going to come, I guess all the different categories that people fall in, you can just steal this format and address them like they've done here. And then again, it's like, well, here's why you should come. And it's just all these different bullets of, not bullets, but different benefits of specifically why people should come. And, here they talk about, well, if you're into offline SEO, traffic generation, product development, branding, buzz, or affiliate strategies, you're gonna love it if you're into any of this long list of things. And you can do the same thing with what you guys are doing. And again, look right here, they have, no matter where you are in your business, the Warrior event is right for you. Obviously you write this in a way that anyone who is interested in coming, you're going to hit all the points of all the different people who are reading the page, of all the different things different people want to get out of this event. And you can you know, you can. This is basically a format and a way where you can strategically lay that information out in a way that's going to be consumed and digested in a way that makes sense. It's going to hit everyone, even though different people want different things. This is a good way to just have like a catch-all net, because you know people are going to go for different reasons, and different people are looking at the page. By doing it this way, it's an easy way to write to your entire audience without alienating anyone. Another thing they do that I think you guys could benefit from a lot is they go, well, here's the schedule, and they even have party on here, and they also have a video of people partying. You could do a similar thing, and also I think this is something you don't touch up on enough, and maybe this is a part of the VIP package, and that's why you haven't done it. But you definitely want to have some, have some copy going, dude. You're gonna learn a lot, but even besides that, like, you're gonna have one of the best times of your life. Here's why, and then you can go on and tell them, like, well, all these amazing people, we're all gonna go tear up Norway. Like, what? How could that not be completely awesome? Right now I am sort of scrolling through your bullets, and not your bullets, your testimonials, and what I want to point out is basically I think a lot of these testimonials are a lot better than others. Like this one's pretty decent. I like this one. This one's good because it's a woman and she's talking about, it's not it's not a gimmicky dating and pickup thing. It's like real. It's real personal growth and like authentic stuff. Like this one right here, like, isn't really that good. This stuff, like, like this, it's not that impressive. This one is pretty good because Johnny Soprano wrote it. This is good. Like, this is a pretty good bullet. Not bullet, testimonial. Like this, like, I don't even know what the hell this guy's talking about FedEx Vlog. Maybe it's some inside joke about what happened at the other previous conference. But if someone, like, this isn't gonna, someone who comes to this page, they're not gonna see this and go, oh shit, I gotta go, this is amazing. Whereas this one will. This one is awesome. I would take the best one, which I think is this one, and move it to the very top. Put your best testimonial at the top. Then take follow that up with another really good testimonial, and then follow that up with a good testimonial. And then what you want to do is put all of your mediocre and kind of testimonials in the middle, and then have the end also be maybe even your second best testimonial. Maybe this one. You want the people who you want people who are going to scroll through it, like, whether they, like, if they get to the testimonials, you want the best one to be right up here, so they pretty much read it automatically. And then for the people who just kind of scroll through and get to the bottom, you want them to get, like, the second best testimonial, so that way they get it automatically also. As far as frequently asked questions, I would just straight up add, what if I'm a girl? You can put, well, here's why you should come even if you're a girl, because, and you might even take the testimonials that are from girls and save them specifically for that, just like that frequently asked questions part, that question. And you go, well, if you're a woman, here's exactly why you should come, because you're going to learn this, you're going to learn this. Women are more than welcome, and it's encouraged. We encourage women to come. Every woman that has come has had a blast. Here's some pictures of girls having fun, and here are testimonials from women who will tell you that everything I've told you is true about women having fun and getting a lot of value out of it. And I want to talk a little bit about testimonials, because It looks like what you guys have done, to an extent, is the same thing that a lot of marketers do when they try and get testimonials, which is the wrong way.